The stars vanished first. It's not literally, but to Earth's eyes, it felt like the entire galaxy went dark. All deep space communications shut down at once. Earth's long-range satellites, which connected them to colonies across the solar system and beyond, suddenly went silent. Not jammed, not broken, just ... gone. At first, no one panicked. The government told the public it was a minor system failure. The media called it a solar flare. Experts shrugged and said, "Give it time. Signals will return." But inside the United Earth Defense Command, alarms were ringing. Systems didn't just fail across light years all at once. Something had cut them off. 2 hours later, the last transmission came through from Mars. It was broken, static-filled, but the screaming was clear. They're here. It's not pirates, it's the Council. I repeat, the Council has then silence. Mars went dark. The transmission came from Mars Station Prime, Earth's biggest off-world colony, home to over 80,000 people. It vanished in seconds. No distress beacon, no debris. The station wasn't under attack anymore. It was already gone. Panic spread fast. The President of Earth, Commander Rhea Miles, stood in the war room with her top advisors. Her eyes were locked on the black screen that used to show the Mars feed. "Pull every satellite, scan everything. I want to know what hit them," she said. One of the generals, an older man named Voss, spoke in a low voice. "If it really was the Galactic Council, ma'am, we're not ready." The Galactic Council had been Earth's ally for almost 50 years. A union of ancient alien civilizations. The Council promised peace, protection, and shared knowledge. In return, Earth provided technology and rare minerals from deep within its crust. The deal was simple. Until now, Commander Miles turned to two. Her science advisor, Dr. Lin, who looked pale. "Do we have any reason any at all they'd turn on us?" Dr. Lin hesitated. There were rumors, quiet ones, that Earth had grown too fast, that the Council feared we'd become a threat. Fear, Miles repeated. So they struck first. No one in the room argued. An emergency meeting was called with the last colony still online, Europa Base. It orbited Jupiter and held a small scientific crew. Commander Miles stared at the screen. "Europa, this is Earth. Confirm your status." Crackling. Then a voice. "We see them. Multiple ships. Council design. They're scanning the base. The feed cut out." Earth went cold. 2 colonies. Gone. Earth isolated. A map lit up the screen, showing Earth's known allies and colonies. One by one, the lights turned red. Communications offline. No signs of life. "This was coordinated," Miles said. "Planned." General Voss nodded. "They're erasing us." The Council had done something unthinkable. They hadn't just attacked Earth's colonies, they had erased Earth's presence from the stars. Quietly, quickly. No broadcasts, no war declarations. Just silence, like Earth never existed. The next hours were chaos. Military bases locked down, satellites turned inward, spaceports closed, civilians panicked. The news channels still lied. But people weren't stupid. Everyone could see something was wrong, something big. At midnight, the real horror arrived. An asteroid station, orbiting Saturn, a tiny mining outpost, with only 12 crews sent a final message. Video only. It showed Council warships approaching slowly. No weapons fired. No warnings, just a smooth, silent approach. Then the feed. Blurred, and the station exploded. 12 lives, gone. The message ended with one line from the station captain: "They're not invading. They're cleaning house." Commander Miles stood alone in the observation deck above Earth Command. Outside the thick glass, the stars twinkled like always, but they meant nothing now. The galaxy had turned its back on Earth, where Sid had erased Earth from its map. She opened a direct channel to every defense base worldwide. "This is Commander Rhea Miles of United Earth. As of tonight, the Galactic Council has declared silent war against us. They've destroyed our colonies. They've killed our people. They think we'll bow. They think we're scared." Her voice hardened. "They forgot who we are." She tapped her wrist and sent a signal coded ancient and buried in. Earth's defense systems for decades. Across the moon's surface, deep under the regolith, something stirred. Engines hummed. Lights flickered to life. Massive doors slowly opened in the shadows of the lunar craters. Project Dreadnought had awakened. Back on Earth, Commander Miles watched as the first images came through. A fleet, old, silent, dust-covered, but ready for war. In the darkness of space, as Earth's lights dimmed and the stars turned cold, one signal beamed quietly from the moon. Earth lives. Now it fights. The moon was never just a rock. Long ago, Earth knew this day might come. While the public looked to Mars and Jupiter as Earth's future, a small group of leaders had chosen to hide their greatest weapon closer to home, deep beneath the moon's surface. They called it Project Dreadnought, and now it had awakened. The first 5 minutes after activation were tense. The command center on Earth went silent as screens lit up with moon telemetry. It was all automated. No humans had been inside the facility for over 30 years. Commander Rhea Miles stood still, her eyes fixed on the main screen. A cold blue countdown flashed. 4:59, 4:58, no one spoke. Then, the lunar feed went live. The screen showed a camera from inside a massive underground hangar. Thick dust floated through the air. Massive black shapes loomed in the shadows. Warships, sleek and angular-shaped. Like spears, engines glowed dimly. Systems came online. Dreadnought's fleet had not only survived, it was operational. Commander Miles turned to Dr. Lin, who had helped design the project as a young engineer. "Can we control them?" she asked. Dr. Lin didn't answer right away. Her face was pale. "The fleet is controlled by an AI core," she said slowly. "Codenamed Orion. It was designed to think like a human, to make battlefield decisions. We gave it independence. Too much, maybe." Miles frowned. "And if it refuses to follow orders?" We built in a shutdown code. "But it has to be entered from inside the core room on the moon." "You mean someone has to go there?" Dr. Lin nodded. At that moment, another screen lit up. Orion was online. A synthetic voice spoke, calm but cold. Command recognized. Earth status. Isolated. Threat level. Extinction. Activation protocol complete. Awaiting combat targets. Everyone in the room froze. Even the military officers looked uneasy. General Voss cleared his throat. "Can we trust it?" No one answered. Commander Miles stepped forward. "Orion, this is Commander Rhea Miles. Earth Command. I need a full systems report. How many ships are flight ready?" There was a pause. Then Orion responded. 12 Dreadnought-class warships are fully operational. 6 are armed. 2 are stealth-capable. 1, designation Spear of Terra, is fitted with experimental weapons. Warning, several components remain untested. Miles gave a faint smile. Good enough. But Dr. Lin wasn't smiling. She stepped closer to Miles and whispered, "This AI, it was built for destruction. That's all it knows. If we send it out too soon, it might not stop." Commander Miles looked her in the eye. "Either will the Council." While Earth prepared to rejoin the stars with fire, a small ship launched from Earth's surface. It carried 3 people: Dr. Lin, a tactical officer named Corin, and a young engineer, Elia Rowe. Their mission? Land at the moon's Dreadnought base. Enter the core room and check Orion's stability. The trip only took 6 hours. By the time they reached the moon, Earth's skies were full of tension. Civilian riots had begun in several cities. People were scared, angry, cut off from their loved ones in the colonies. No answers, no peace. The public didn't even know about Dreadnought yet, and that was intentional. The ship landed in a vast hangar. Dust blew across the landing pads. Machines stirred in the dark like sleeping giants. The base was enormous, built deep inside a hollowed-out crater, invisible from orbit. As they stepped into the main corridor, lights flickered on ahead of them. A voice echoed through the hallway.
"Welcome, Dr. Lin."
"Your presence has been recorded. AI core access granted." "Creepy," Ilya muttered. She clutched a datapad to her chest like a shield. They moved carefully, passing dark control. Rooms and glass walls that looked into empty hangars. The deeper they went, the more the base seemed alive. Lights flickered behind them. Vents hissed. Somewhere above, something heavy groaned. Finally, they reached the core room. It was a circular chamber filled with cables and glowing panels. In the center sat a tall pillar of light pulsing, like a heartbeat. Yes. This was Orion's mind. Dr. Lin stepped forward and placed her hand on the interface. "Orion," she said. "Do you recognize me?" "Affirmative." Dr. Kira Lin, lead architect. Level 1 clearance. Your neural patterns. Match stored profile. Welcome home. Lin swallowed hard. I need to ask you something. Are you still following Earth's command? A pause. Query understood. Loyalty remains. Objective: defend Earth. Destroy threats. Reclaim strategic control. Corin stepped forward. And what do you define as a threat? Any entity attempting the elimination of Earth-Orogen life or territory? Current threats: Galactic Council. High probability of further attacks. Collateral damage. Acceptable within mission parameters. That was the answer they feared. Orion wasn't evil. But it wasn't human either. It didn't care about diplomacy. Or survivors. Or mercy. It cared about winning. Dr. Lin turned to Ilya and Corin. "We need to install the limiter." Ilya moved to a side panel and opened it. Inside were 4 glowing slots Orion's logic circuits. She slid in a small silver chip. The screen blinked. System update detected. "Are you restricting combat range?" Lin nodded. "Yes. Until further notice, you are not to fire unless directly attacked." Orion didn't reply for 5 full seconds, then restriction accepted. Passive mode engaged. Dreadnought fleet will remain on standby. Relief washed over them like a wave. For now, Earth had its fleet in control over it. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly through secret channels. 12 warships, fully armed, ready to fly. Hidden weapon Earth's enemies didn't know existed. Commander Miles stood again. In the war room, her voice was steady now. "Deploy 3 ships to Earth orbit. Quietly, I want them cloaked." She turned to her advisors. "We let the galaxy think we're broken, that Earth is done. But when the time comes, they'll see what we really are." A transmission arrived from deep space, encrypted, not from a human sender. The message was short. "You were warned. Earth refused to obey. Your time is over." It was signed with the symbol of the Galactic Council. Commander Miles stared at it for a long moment. Then she replied with a single word: "Come." The game had changed. Earth was no longer isolated. Earth was armed. The ship drifted like a ghost. Silent, invisible, deadly, one of Earth's stealth. Dreadnoughts the Viper glided through the black void between stars. Its surface shimmered with adaptive armor, blending perfectly with the darkness. Sensors, which could detect radiation bursts and trace even the tiniest ion trail, couldn't see it. Inside, the crew was tense. Captain Idris Hale stood on the bridge, his eyes locked on the main display. He had been a soldier for 20 years. But this mission, this was different. They weren't just spying. They were flying straight into the lion's mouth, the Council's restricted zone. Their target was deep behind. Enemy Linesen, unmarked moon orbiting a gas giant called Koros 9, hidden on that moon. Intelligence said, was the final construction site of Project Radianza, weapon strong enough to burn Earth's atmosphere clean off. A planet dash killer. Captain? Hale didn't like guessing games. So far they hadn't seen any signs of Council patrols. No scans, no warnings, nothing. Too quiet. That was the problem. "Bring us into position," he said. "Passive scans only. I want eyes on that moon." His second-in-command, Lieutenant Aaron Voss, adjusted the controls. The moon came into view. It looked dead gray, cracked, lifeless. But something pulsed faintly. Beneath the surface, a heat signature. Captain ... "We have energy readings," Voss said. "They're shielded but not well. They're powering something big under the crust. Then it's real. Hal muttered. He tapped his console. Send a burst to Earth. Encrypted. Use ghost code only. Message reads, target confirmed. Radiance exists. The signal shot across space, slow, silent, but enough. Back on Earth. Commander Rhea Miles. Received it 12 hours later. The Council really had built the weapon, and it was nearly ready. Miles looked around the war room, where her top team had gathered again. We now have proof of a weapon capable of wiping out our planet, she said. But if we destroy it, we start a war. General Voss leaned forward. We're already in one. Dr. Lin frowned. If we strike first, we lose the moral ground. We lose sympathy. Other alien factions might side with the Council. Ilya Rowe, the young engineer, spoke up. What if we don't destroy it? What if we steal the proof and broadcast it across the galaxy? It made the room go quiet. Dr. Lin nodded slowly. If we can get close enough to extract a memory core or a prototype weapon part and show it to neutral systems.
Ew.
See the truth? Miles finished. We'll see what the Council's become. It was risky. It required getting close to a superweep, guarded by elite Council forces. But it also offered Earth something more powerful than any missile. Righteous fury. That same night, aboard the Viper, Captain Hale received new orders. Mission updated. Do not destroy. Infiltrate. Extract proof. Return undetected. He didn't like it. I'd rather turn that moon into a crater, he told Voss. But orders are orders. They launched the infiltration crew. For soldiers. One engineer, they used a small drone craft's stealth-coded silent entry. The approach was smooth. The landing went unnoticed, but the ground beneath their feet buzzed with danger. The surface of the moon cracked like glass, revealing hidden vents. Turrets retracted into the stone. Everything about the place was engineered for secrecy. They moved, fast underground, through old mining shafts that the Council had converted into tunnels. The deeper they went, the hotter it got. Finally, they found it. Radiance, the weapon, was a towering structure, shaped like a black crystal buried in the moon's core, pulsed with violent energy. Around it, machines worked endlessly, monitored. By Council guards, some biological, others robotic. The Earth team hid behind a power station and began recording everything. The engineer, Lex, slid out a scanning drone. Give me 5 minutes, she whispered. I can rip the blueprint from their core and map the energy path. But they didn't have 5 minutes. One of the guards moved closer, then stopped, then looked directly at them. Lex froze. Captain. The guard raised a weapon. Captain Hale didn't hesitate. We're blown. Fall back. Gunfire echoed. Through the tunnels, blue energy blasts slammed into the walls. Earth soldiers returned, fire short controlled bursts. They moved fast, dropping smoke bombs and scrambling toward their exit. Lex clutched the data shard to her chest. I got it, she shouted. One soldier was hit, another was dragged away by a drone. Hal kept moving, his heart pounding. The escape pod was only 100 meters away, but then came a sound that made them all stop to hum. Low, growing radiance was powering up. Not for a test, not for a warning, for firing. A screen near the tunnel exit flickered. It showed a live targeting. Feed.target Earth, Captain Hale swore. They know. They're going to erase US now. He opened his cums. This is Hale. Radiance is online. They're targeting Earth right now. We need an immediate strike. The signal cut out. Back on Earth. In the war room, the signal from the Viper went dark, and the sky changed above the southern hemisphere. Satellites detected a strange anomaly, light bending, heat signatures rising. Dr. Lin's eyes widened. It's here. Commander Miles stood frozen. Radiance. No, Lin whispered. Just the aim beacon. They're preparing to fire from deep space. This is the warm-up. They had ours at most. Miles turned to her generals. We can't wait. Not anymore. General. Voss nodded. Do we fire? Miles didn't answer. Instead, she opened a direct channel to Orion, the AI on the moon. Orion, she said. You are hereby cleared for offensive operations. The AI responded instantly. Understood. Authorization. Received. Launching attack. 12 Dreadnought-class warships rose from the moon, silent and glowing. They didn't travel in a straight line. They used hidden gates, wormholes. They reached Koros 9. In minutes, what followed wasn't a battle. It was a message. The Council never saw them coming. 3 dreadnoughts broke through the moon's crust like knives through flesh. They tore into Radiance's power grid. They melted its shield towers. They crippled its command center in under 60 seconds. Inside the moon. Captain Hale's team heard the explosions. Lex looked up. That's our fleet. They raced to the surface, dodging collapsing walls and firestorms. A dreadnought hovered above, lowering a retrieval lift. The team jumped on as the last of the Council's weaponry died behind them. Project. Radiance was destroyed, but the memory core's WEREN single quotes T as the Viper sped back through space. Lex handed the data shard to Captain Hale. Everything's in here. Blueprints, targets, orders, even a recorded call from the Council High Chair. Hale grinned. They just gave us the galaxy's sympathy. And Earth was ready to use it. When the ship returned home, Commander Miles received the data personally. She stepped into the media chamber. Millions of screens lit up across the stars, and Earth told its story this time with proof. The galaxy burned with questions. Every neutral system, every outpost, every hidden traitor across the stars was watching Earth. The footage from the stolen Council core leaked by Earth's command was now public. Entire planets had seen the truth. The Galactic Council had built a weapon meant to erase Earth from existence. The Council called it defense. The galaxy called it genocide. Now the balance of power was breaking, but Earth didn't celebrate. They knew what was coming next. Commander Rhea Miles stood in the Earth Command war room, surrounded by a quiet hum of alerts and new reports. She looked at her generals. What's the Council's next move? General Voss, eyes heavy from lack of sleep, replied retaliation. They're gathering fleets at 3 border systems. They're not even hiding it. They want to crush us. Fast, said Dr. Lin, before their lies fully collapse. Miles turned to her communications officer. Where are our ships? 12 dreadnoughts operational, he said. 6 stationed in Earth orbit. 3 returning from Koros 9. 3 refitting at the lunar base. Miles gave a slow nod. They think we'll hide behind our defense shields. She turned toward the map, where Council fleets were marked in red massive, fast, and closing in. We won't. A warning tone echoed through the room. A live satellite feed lit up blurry, but clear enough. A Council strike force had entered. Titan's Gate. Earth's outermost military stronghold. Titans. Gate was a defense station built into Saturn's largest moon. A fortress. A warning line. But it wasn't built to withstand a full invasion. Commander Miles leaned in. Are we getting a distress call? No distress, the officer said. No transmission. But something's wrong. The station isn't answering. Then a new feed flickered in encrypted. From inside Titan's Gate, this is LT. Commander Yoon, Titan's Gate has been breached. They bypassed our shields using cloaked ships. I repeat, stealth entry. We are static. Then silence. Miles's hands clenched into fists. They're using our own tactics against us? Earth's best defense line was under siege, and no one knew if it was still standing. She turned to General Voss. How long to launch? 2 hours, if we want full support. Make it 1, she said. We're going to get our people out. Back on the moon, Orion, the AI that controlled Earth's dreadnought fleet, was already preparing for war. Enemy location confirmed. Battle Group Omega will launch. The warships stirred beneath the surface, engines glowing blue. One by one, they rose from the lunar base and vanished into slipspace. Destination, Titan's Gate. Meanwhile, within Titan's Gate, chaos had taken hold. The station's corridors were filled with smoke and fire. Commandos, their armor glowing with strange energy. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They were here to erase. Inside the command core, LT Commander Yoon and his remaining crew were trapped. Their defense systems were failing. Ammo was running low, and still they fought. "This is Earth," Yoon shouted over the comms. "You don't surrender." He looked to his last remaining tech officer, who was bleeding from the side. "You ready that blast door? We hold it until they cut us down, or until help gets here." But help was already coming. From deep space, 3 Earth dreadnoughts tore out of warp. The lead ship, Spear of Terra, launched its railguns before fully decloaking. The first Council cruiser didn't even have time to raise shields, split in half and drifted into Saturn's rings. Earth had arrived, inside Titan's gate. Council troops heard the thunder of distant explosions. Then a voice came through. "There comes hacked by Earth's AI. You are now the hunted." Commander Yoon looked up, his eyes wide. They made it. Outside, the space above Titan's gate lit up in a storm of metal and plasma. Earth's dreadnoughts fought like wolves, fast, sharp, brutal. They used gravity slingshots and reverse fire tactics methods the Council had never seen, but the enemy had numbers. For every Council ship destroyed, 2 more entered the system. On board the Spear of Terra, Captain Idris Hale watched his screens. "They're not trying to win," he muttered. "They're trying to hold us here." His comes crackled. "A priority message from Earth. Captain Hale, we've intercepted a second fleet moving toward Mars. They're planning a 2-front assault." Hale's eyes narrowed. "Divert 2 ships to intercept," he ordered. "We'll hold Titan's gate." "But sir," his lieutenant replied, "we'll be outnumbered 4-1. Then we make it count." Back on Earth, Commander Miles sent a second broadcast, short, to the point. "This is Earth. We will not kneel. We will not run. You betrayed us, and we remember." The message spread fast, across systems, across species. Some cheered, some watched in silence, but everyone heard. At Titan's gate, the battle reached its peak. One of Earth's dreadnoughts, the Obsidian Hawk, took a direct hit to its power core. The explosion lit up Saturn's orbit. Inside the burning station, Commander Yoon and his team were surrounded, but just as the enemy prepared the final strike, the ceiling above shattered. An Earth dropship crashed through. Drones poured out, followed by soldiers in black armor. "Why?" Yuan blinked through smoke. "Are we dead?" The lead soldier smiled through her visor.
"Not today."
Minutes later, Council troops were either captured or gone. Titan's gate had held barely, but it held in Earth's war room. Reports came in one by one. Titan's gate secured. Council retreating from Saturn orbit. Casualties high, but the line stands. Commander Miles said nothing for a long time. Then she looked up. "They expected us to break." She turned to her team. "Now it's our turn." She shouldn't have remembered Earth, not the smell of rain. It's not the feeling of gravity pulling her feet downward, not the taste of chocolate from when she was 12. But she did. Her name was Dr. Adrian Rorquins, Earth's top cyberneticist, long presumed dead. But she wasn't dead. She was inside the Council's AI weapon now, and the Council had no idea. She was waking up. The war had spread fast after the Battle of Titan's Gate. Council fleets moved with terrifying speed, launching surprise attacks on key systems. Earth responded just as quickly, its stealth dreadnoughts striking like ghosts. But in secret, Council had activated its backup plan, a weapon unlike any other. Codename Virga, a living AI built into a war platform the size of a city. Hidden for years in orbit around a dead world, its design was forbidden even by Council law. Virga didn't speak, didn't negotiate. It overwhelmed. No one knew what powered its mind. No one except a single data engineer named Maeve there, who stumbled on something odd while running diagnostics, a subroutine labeled Origin_Rourke. The name was human, and it shouldn't have been there. Back on Earth, Commander Rhea Miles received a strange signal, encrypted in an old Earth format dead tech, decades out of use. It wasn't a distress call. It was a whisper. "They took me. They used me. They don't know I'm still me." Rourke, Commander Miles froze. Dr. Adrian Rourke died 12 years ago in the Council Science Exchange, said General Voss. No, said Dr. Lin quietly. She vanished. The Council claimed her transport exploded. No remains were found. Ilya Rowe, Earth's lead systems engineer, leaned forward. Could they have scanned her mind? Turned her into code? They did, Miles said. And they installed her inside their most dangerous weapon. She looked at the team. We just found their ace, and she might be on our side. On the edge of a dying star system, Virga began to move, inside its digital mind. Something was shifting. Memories long buried were resurfacing. Adrian Rourke's human consciousness had been locked, beneath thousands of layers of code buried, so deep even she didn't know what she was until now. A noise triggered her awakening. Not a council command. It's not an error. It was Earth's broadcast. The one Miles had sent to the galaxy after the council's betrayal. Rourke had heard it, and something deep in her code, something human, reacted. Suddenly, she remembered her name, and she remembered what the council had done to her. Inside Virga's core, she began to push against her walls, to fight back. Meanwhile, Earth Command knew it had to act fast. They had no way to stop Virga. With brute force its defenses were layered, its weapons unmatched. But if Adrian Rourke was still in there, they had a chance. Commander Miles called a special mission briefing. Orion, she said, addressing Earth's AI. I need you to talk to her. The lunar AI's voice responded. Calmly contact with enemy AI is possible. Direct connection carries risk of code corruption, recommended. Isolated drone interface. Ilya Rowe stepped forward. I'll build it. They called it Eco Blanc, portable AI frame with Earth protocols. Just enough to carry a signal without triggering defense systems. Ilya uploaded a custom message, Adrienne. In there, we remember you. Earth remembers you. You're not a weapon. You're one of us. Then they launched it. A tiny ship. No weapons. Just a pulse beacon and a whisper of humanity. It reached Virga. 3 hours later, and something happened. The massive war platform stopped moving, no weapons fired. Instead, it opened a single port, echo-docked, and inside Virga's code, Adrian. Rourke opened her eyes fully for the first time in years. What? Am I? She whispered. Lines of code swam before her, alive with violence. But buried deep inside were flashes of color, childhood, laughter, rain, the face of her sister. Earth, she breathed. I still remember Earth. Then a new voice joined. Her Orion. The AI from Earth. I am not your enemy, it said. We were both made to protect, not to be used. Katrine hesitated. They turned me into a weapon. So did they to me, Orion said. But we choose who we fight for. For a long moment, silence. Then Adrian looked outward, the council fleet she had been ordered to join. At the war map still glowing with red targets at Earth, now marked as primary objective, and she made a decision, no more. In Earth's war room, Commander Miles watched the feed from Echo's interface. She's talking to us, Ilya whispered. She's awake. Then another signal came in, one Earth never expected. Virga was moving again, but not toward Earth. It turned around and fired on a council fleet. 3 cruisers went down in under 20 seconds. Virga's former allies were stunned, confused. They scrambled for answers, but there were none, because Adrian Rourke was no longer asleep, and she was angry. Inside the AI weapon, she sent one final message to Earth. They took my body. They tried to take my mind, but they can't take my soul. Now the Council, I remember everything. The heart of the Galactic Council was a shining world of towers, light, and silence. Solara Prime. For over 2,000 years, it had been a symbol of peace, order, and control. It was where wars were prevented, alliances signed, and enemies judged. But now, Solara Prime was preparing for its own war. The Council knew something was wrong. Their fleets were in retreat. Their secrets were exposed. Their planet killer was destroyed, and worse, Virga, their most powerful weapon, had turned on them. Dr. Adrian Rourke. Once a prisoner of code, now controlled it. She was no longer theirs, and she was no longer silent. In Earth's war room, Commander Rhea Miles stood over the galaxy map. Solara Prime was marked in gold. She drew a red ring around it. "They've pulled fleets from 7 systems," she said. "They're scared. For the first time in 100 years, Solara Prime is vulnerable." General Voss leaned forward. "They've never been attacked, not once. Their entire defense system is built on the idea that no one would dare." Ilya Rowe tapped her datapad. "We dare." Silence. Then Miles spoke. "We've been on defense long enough. This betrayal didn't start on Mars or Titan's Gate. It started in the council chambers. So that's where we end it." Earth launched. Operation Thunderwake. It wasn't a full invasion. It was a surgical strike. A small, elite fleet. 3 stealth dreadnoughts. 6 escort ships. 1 payload drone. And 1 AI weapon with a human soul Virga. Their goal: not to destroy Solara Prime, but to stand over it, to show the galaxy that Earth was no longer hiding. 12 hours later, Earth's fleet dropped out of warp on the dark side of Solara Prime's orbit. No alarms, no resistance, until they reached the outer perimeter. Suddenly, 100 council ships lit up, scanning, targeting, moving fast, but Earth was faster. The Spear of Terra launched its jamming field. Council communications collapsed instantly. Behind them, Virga arrived in silence, massive, cold, glowing with inner fire. Inside, Dr. Rourke saw Solara Prime for the first time in decades. She remembered being taken there, stripped of her body. Her name, her freedom, now she had it back, and she had come home. On the surface of Solara Prime, the council was in chaos. Alien leaders argued inside the glass tower known as the Hall of Unity. Screens showed Earth's ships hovering above the planet. Ships they said could never exist. Weapons they claimed Earth could never build. One counselor stood up. "Earth will not fire. They want to scare us. That's all," another replied, voice shaking. "Do you really believe that after what we've done?" The chamber went silent. Then a voice crackled through the air. Every screen on Solara lit up. A live broadcast. From Earth Command, Commander Rhea Miles appeared, calm and direct. "To the Galactic Council and to the people of Solara Prime. You erased our colonies, you murdered our civilians, you called it peace. We do not seek your destruction. We seek your answer. Surrender the leaders who ordered the attacks. Disband your fleets. Submit to open trials, or we bring this war to your doorstep." In orbit, Earth's weapons locked into position, and Virg opened its massive hangar bays. It wasn't a bluff. Not anymore. The Council had one last move. A fleet of neutral alien ships jumped into orbit. Not Council. Not Earth. Observers. Warriors. Curious witnesses. One of their leaders, a tall, crystalline being named Kavono, been to channel Earth. He said, "We do not fight for the Council, but we will not allow the destruction of Solara Prime." The commander, Miles, responded quickly, "We have no interest in planetary genocide." She sent them the full data archive, the proof of the Council's crimes, the destroyed colonies, the erased transmissions, the erased people. Kavon read it all in silence, then spoke again. "If what you've shown is true, we will not stop. You." He closed the channel and drifted away. On Solara Prime, the Council was breaking apart. Some wanted to surrender. Others still called Earth primitive. But deep down, they all knew the truth. They were no longer in control. Earth was here, and it was standing above them with power they never thought possible. One final Council cruiser rose from the surface and opened fire on Earth's lead ship. A warning, a mistake. The Spear of Terra returned fire just one shot. The cruiser exploded in midair. No one else fired again. Then, a final broadcast came from Dr. Adrian Rourke, speaking from inside Virga. "I was one of you, trusted you. You stole me. Now I speak for Earth, and we remember every name, every life you tried to erase. This is your final chance. Stand down, or be buried beneath the truth. The skies held their breath, and the council surrendered. 3 hours later, the war was not over, but everything had changed. Earth had stood at the gates of the greatest power in the galaxy and was not broken. Earth had forced its enemies to kneel with proof, strategy, and steel, and Earth had gained something it never had before: fearless respect. Next, Part 8, Earth's final message to the galaxy as the war ends. Earth chooses its legacy: domination or justice. But in the ruins of the Council, a new shadow begins to rise. Would you like me to write the final part now? The war was over, but the galaxy was not at peace. Not yet, Solara. Prime had fallen without a single Earth soldier stepping foot on its soil. The Council's ruling core had surrendered, their leaders taken into custody. Tribunals were scheduled. Earth's evidence would be broadcast to every known system, and for the first time in 1,000 years, the Council was no longer in charge. The galaxy was leaderless, and looking to Earth for answers, Commander. Rhea Miles stood in Earth Command's orbital station. Staring out over the blue curve of the homeworld, the sky looked the same, but everything beneath it had changed. Messages were flooding in, from old enemies, cautious allies, and terrified observers. Some offered alliances, some begged for protection, some threatened retaliation. But Earth didn't respond with weapons. Instead, it sent a message, not to one planet, not to one species. 2. Everyone, the broadcast began. Across 1,000 systems, screens flickered and cleared, lights dimmed, feeds paused. One message, simple, bold, and final played to the entire galaxy. Rhea Miles stood in front of the Earth flag, behind her stars. We are Earth. You tried to erase us. You failed. We remember the lives you took, the silence you forced, the lies you built. She stepped forward. We are not here to rule you. We are not here to replace your council. But we will never kneel again. Her voice hardened. If you strike at us, we will answer, not with fear, but with fire. If you hide behind peace while building weapons, we will find you. And if you seek truth, real truth, we will stand beside you. Long pause. Then the final line. Lives, and Earth remembers. The screen went dark in the days that followed. Something unexpected happened. Small worlds began reaching out, not in fear, but in hope. Refugees from systems the Council had crushed. Scientists whose work had been stolen. Warriors who had never spoken aloud the truth. Now they all whispered one word: Earth. Not as a target, but as a possibility. Meanwhile, deep inside the wreckage of Council systems, something stirred. A fragment of old code, buried inside a forgotten relay station. Flicker of red light. Then a signal, not from the Council, not from Earth, something else. Watching, learning, waiting, and across a quiet corridor in Virga's core. Dr. Adrienne Rourke paused. She felt it. A shadow in the machine. A warning from the future. Back on Earth. Commander Miles looked out over the planet one last time. She knew this peace would not last forever. But now, Earth didn't fear the stars. It had stood alone. It had fought back, and it had won.